The final chapter of LeBron James's NBA story has arrived, and his reluctance to close the book is becoming an anchor on the Lakers, a reality the entire league recognizes. For years, this was the conversation among fans, but now the game's icons are saying it publicly. LeBron's era has passed, and the moment for Luka Doncic to inherit the mantle is here. This isn't just the noise of social media or manufactured debate. Michael Jordan himself has weighed in. The call to step away has been ringing, but James refuses to pick up. And Michael Jordan is only the beginning. The depths to which Magic Johnson and Shaq have taken this conversation are startling. It's a level of candor from them we have never witnessed before. What so many seem to overlook is that this isn't a recent development. The quiet ascent of Luka has been years in the making, the inevitable and logical succession of power. And the one person who appears to be caught off guard by this shift is, predictably, LeBron himself. For anyone who has been truly observing, the indicators have been impossible to miss. By the dawn of 2026, Luka Doncic was no longer just another star. He was the very center of the Lakers universe. Consider the All-Star voting at the top of the year as proof. Over 5.2 million votes were cast for Luka, while LeBron struggled to surpass 3.1 million. And the most telling aspect of this shift was the complete lack of surprise from anyone. So, when a consensus forms among fans, media, and players, including the game's most revered legends that Luka's time is now, why do we still see LeBron James on the floor? Why is a 41-year-old man still trying to keep pace with 20-year-olds? Beyond the voting, the truth was written on the court in the Lakers' early season games. The start of 2026 felt like Luka's formal declaration against the Pelicans. He delivered 32 points, 11 assists, and 9 rebounds, then departed as if it were merely another day of work. 2 evenings later, the Lakers triumphed over the Grizzlies. Luka recorded 28 points, 10 assists, and 12 rebounds, elevating the performance of every player around him. We are witnessing Austin Reeves attempting shots with newfound confidence, and Rui Hachimura making sharper cuts and executing more decisively at the rim. And here is the most logical conclusion. None of this was dependent on LeBron. For anyone paying attention, it has been obvious for years, and even the icons have been trying to signal to him that his journey with the Lakers and in the NBA is complete. It's understood that he is still chasing a definitive place among the all-time greats, but nothing he accomplishes at this stage will ever position him alongside figures like Kobe or Jordan in the hearts of the fans. Magic Johnson articulated this perfectly at a press conference in 2025. He's a bad boy, but he's not Michael. Don't get it twisted. I love LeBron, but no. It isn't a slight. It is simply the unvarnished truth. And Magic isn't alone. Shaq has also been unequivocal in his assessment. He argues that the Lakers must construct their next decade around Luka, not another victory lap for a man who is 41. At some point, we will see LeBron retire. But you got a 25-year-old Luka Doncic, so that means we got another good 10 years looking at the Lakers. Meanwhile, Cedric Maxwell, a Finals MVP and 2-time Celtics champion who shared the court with Larry Bird, emerged and drew a direct parallel between Luka and Bird. He spoke of Luka's ability to read the floor, to outwit defenders without relying on sheer physical dominance, and his masterful control over the tempo of a game. For a man of that stature to declare that Luka is a modern incarnation of Larry Bird is a statement of immense weight. I said, right now, I think that you ask me, so who would Larry Bird what would he be like in the NBA? And Luka would be him, or he'd be Luka. These are not impulsive remarks. They are first-hand expert-level analyses. Even analysts like Jovan Buha have documented how the Lakers' offensive flow improves exponentially with Luka orchestrating it. The possessions are cleaner, the ball circulates with more purpose, and the floor spacing is more intelligent. These are tangible, measurable enhancements. In January of 2026 alone, the Lakers' net rating with Luka on the court and LeBron on the bench soared to plus 5.2 in just the first quarter, demonstrating how his presence fundamentally elevates the team's performance. The data from high-stakes situations further solidifies his impact. In that back-to-back series against Memphis, Luka posted a usage rate exceeding 34% with an efficiency rating near 28%. His box plus-minus was a remarkable plus 10.8. These are not merely impressive statistics, they are evidence of a player who is shouldering the offense, creating for others, and thriving under immense pressure. At the same time, LeBron's appearances have become less frequent as he contends with persistent back soreness and other ailments. The writing on the wall is indelible. The time has come to hang it up. And LeBron feels it, which is what fuels the underlying tension. He remained for one final attempt, one more opportunity to shape his legacy. But Luka's moment shouldn't be held hostage by anyone's farewell tour. As Shaq noted, LeBron's contributions to the Lakers are now minimal, and the analytics confirm that his presence is no longer a necessity. To witness this truth, one only needed to watch the Lakers perform when LeBron was not in the lineup. At the start of the 2025 to 2026 season, LeBron was sidelined for the first 14 games, citing his recurring back problems. That stretch became a perfect demonstration of why the narrative of his indomitable athleticism is a relic of the past. The team did more than just stay afloat without him. They soared, achieving a 10-4 record in that span, and Luka was not just compiling stats. He was commanding the offense, setting the rhythm, and empowering his teammates to excel. Over those 14 games, he averaged 28 points, 9 rebounds, and 11 assists per game, with an efficiency rating of roughly 27.5% and a box plus-minus of plus 9.3. The team's collective numbers paint an even clearer picture. During his absence, the Lakers' net rating stood at a positive 1.1. That signifies they were a winning team on both ends of the floor. Yet, upon his return, that very same net rating plummeted to a negative 2.5. In truth, genuine leadership is an innate quality that cannot be fabricated. While LeBron was recovering from his injuries, Luka was already conditioned for the team to function without him. He said it himself. Hopefully LeBron can join us as soon as possible, but the mentality has to be the next man up. I just want to play basketball. Whether that's less or more, whatever it takes to get the win. He wasn't seeking validation or asking for the keys. He was already driving. That blend of statistical dominance and quiet authority is exceedingly rare in the modern NBA, especially from a player who is just 26 years old. It evokes memories of watching competitors like Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant. The Lakers' early season success without LeBron made it undeniable that Luka was doing far more than just keeping the team competitive. It sent a message to the league that the Lakers were capable of evolving, perhaps even thriving, without the immense weight of LeBron's presence. Consequently, upon his return, he found a team that had discovered its own cadence, making the reintegration of its iconic leader a surprisingly difficult puzzle. And if one were to argue this was merely a matter of chemistry or a fault of the team, a look at the decline in LeBron's own performance at the year's start tells a different story. Through the month of January, LeBron's scoring output hovered between 22 and 24 points per game, a significant drop from the high 25s to low 30s he maintained for the better part of a decade. His accuracy from the field has also slipped to about 48%, a noticeable dip from his career mark of roughly 50%. While that may not seem monumental on the surface, it represents a considerable loss in efficiency when you factor in his increased reliance on perimeter shots to adapt to the modern game. And the story doesn't end with his scoring. His assists have fallen to 6.8 per contest, while his rebounding numbers are down to 5.4. For a 41-year-old, these figures are respectable, of course, but they aren't the numbers of a player meant to be the undisputed heart of a championship contender. And then there's this. LeBron had meticulously built a streak of 1,297 consecutive regular season games, scoring at least 10 points, a record he often cited as proof of his enduring impact on the sport. But that monumental streak came to an end this season in a December matchup against the Raptors. The Lakers managed to win that game 123-120, but the man himself, the one who vowed to play for what feels like an eternity, finished with only 8 points. Just 8. It's hard to find a clearer sign of the inevitable descent he is facing. He is also contending with the relentless toll of time, chronic back pain, sciatica, and persistent joint issues that have either sidelined him or restricted his time on the court. In the first 30 games of the 2025 to 2026 season, he participated in only 18 contests from start to finish. And the physical decline is visible to the naked eye. That explosive first step that once defined him has lost its signature burst. His lateral quickness is a fraction of what it once was. And when the Lakers try to accelerate the tempo, it becomes painfully clear that LeBron can no longer shoulder that burden for a full 36 to 40 minutes. From a strategic perspective, even head coach Jay, Redick has acknowledged the disruption, stating the team's offense has felt less cohesive since LeBron's return. He said, "I think since we've gotten Bron back, we haven't been as organized offensively. Too many random possessions. When the man drawing up the plays says that about you, the problem is undeniable." Then you have the noise away from the game discussions surrounding his associations, his influence in his son Bronny's path to the Lakers, and a host of other distracting narratives. Let's be candid, LeBron's continued presence on this team feels less about collective victory and more about a personal quest for one final ring, an attempt to match Kobe's championship count. But even then, the specter of Michael Jordan's 6 titles looms a summit we all understand is now beyond his reach. All the while, a 26-year-old talent, in his absolute prime, stands ready to inherit the kingdom the moment LeBron is prepared to step aside. To be fair, the name LeBron still commands respect. His legacy is immortalized. But the player on the hardwood today is a different man, validating the quiet whispers from legends who saw this moment coming. Now, up to this point, you might have noticed a certain caution in how I framed the comparison between these two athletes. But let's set aside the niceties and confront the reality of the situation. Luka is a superior basketball player to LeBron James right now. The statement has been made because a direct, honest comparison reveals a gap that is impossible to ignore. We've noted that as of early 2026, Luka was averaging 33.5 points, 8.7 assists, 7.9 rebounds, and 1.52 steals per game. Meanwhile, LeBron was putting up 21.7 points, 6.8 assists, 5.4 rebounds, and 1 steal. The difference is anything but subtle. Consider that Luka is playing 50% more minutes at a peak level of performance, shouldering the offensive load and closing out games with authority. In contrast, LeBron's minutes are carefully managed due to his physical condition. And even in those limited appearances, his overall impact on the team's success simply isn't what it once was. Here is another piece of data to consider. Are you aware that in his first 6 seasons, Luka has already earned 5 All-NBA first-team selections, holds a playoff scoring average of 31 points, and posted a career high of 73 points in a single game? By comparison, in his first 6 seasons, LeBron had 3 All-NBA first-team nods, a 29-point playoff average, and a career best of 61 points. Essentially, Luka is replicating LeBron's prime accomplishments, but he's doing it sooner and with greater efficiency, elevating his entire team in the process. And of the two, only one has ever left his original franchise to form a super team. Luka remained loyal to his organization until the front office made the decision to trade him. That commitment alone should signal to the Lakers front office where their future truly lies. And in the moments that define games, Luka is operating on a plane that LeBron can no longer consistently reach. Look at the game on January 10th, 2026, against Memphis, the first of a back-to-back set. The fourth quarter was a tense affair, with the Lakers trailing by 2 and 4 minutes and 30 seconds remaining. It was as if he tapped into a reserve of energy and focus that he had been holding back. In those final 5 minutes, Luka connected on 7 of his 9 shot attempts, including a monumental step-back three-pointer that effectively put the game out of reach. Contrast that with a similar high-pressure situation against Phoenix earlier, where LeBron hit a late shot, but the team's overall performance with him on the floor actually suffered, ending that stretch with a -3 rating. Or consider the rematch with Memphis on January 12th, where the outcome was decided in the final 2 minutes of play. In that closing stretch, Luka contributed 8 points, 4 assists, and 2 rebounds, all while creating open looks for his teammates simply by commanding the defense's entire focus. LeBron's true shooting percentage in the last 5 minutes of games hovers around 52%. Luka's number in those same situations is 61%. At the highest level of this sport, that is a cavernous divide, and the effect transcends the box score. Remember what I said about Luka elevating his teammates? In that Memphis series, Rui Hachimura scored 22 points across the 2 games, shooting an incredible 70% from the field. And Austin Reeves drained 5 critical three-pointers, all of them generated from the gravity and vision of Luka's playmaking. Now, compare that to the game against Toronto where LeBron finished with just 8 points. That was the very contest where the Lakers lost their offensive flow and needed a desperation, contested 3 from a role player just to push the game into overtime. This all circles back to the central point I've been building toward. Luka is currently exceeding LeBron in every significant aspect of the game, from scoring and distribution to efficiency, game management, leadership, and simple availability. So when Michael Jordan suggested that retirement was beckoning for LeBron, it wasn't a cheap shot. It was the clear, unvarnished truth spoken by someone who understands the life cycle of a legend. But the narrative takes a turn here. Michael Jordan's support for Luka was evident long before the current complexities emerged. In 2022, a video of Jordan embracing Luka captured the world's attention. And this was no mere pat on the back, no awkward, obligatory handshake. It was the genuine, full-bodied hug of a proud mentor for his successor. It's crucial to grasp the weight of that moment. The last time we witnessed Jordan display that kind of affection for another player, it was with Kobe Bryant. It was, in essence, a seal of approval from the undisputed greatest to ever play the game. By contrast, look at Jordan with LeBron that very same night. The distance is chilling. Jordan made no effort to conceal his perspective. You know, I know you. Yes, sir, you can do it. Good luck. Then you have the voice of Allen Iverson, a man who has never been known for softening his opinions. When asked years ago about Luka's style of play, this is what he had to say. Because they'd probably kill me for it. No, you should say it. We can edit it out. We won't. Yeah, he plays the way he plays. He plays like a white guy. No, he plays like a black guy. And before anyone misinterprets that, this was Iverson's way of offering the most profound respect he could. But the story doesn't end there. Iverson was recently invited to an ESPN interview and asked about the situation with LeBron, and I have seldom seen someone be so brutally honest. His exact words were, "It's time for him to leave. It's Luka's time." Beyond these viral moments, the simple fact that these legends are abandoning diplomacy on this issue is what speaks the loudest. Can you imagine the gravity of the situation required for the game's elders to so publicly choose a side between LeBron James and Luka Doncic? It signifies a genuine consensus, and you can be certain LeBron feels it too. On some level, even he must sense the tectonic plates shifting beneath him in the locker room, on the hardwood, and echoing from the stands. Rumors have even surfaced that this changing dynamic has created significant friction behind closed doors, and that friction has reportedly escalated into direct, heated confrontations. You see, Luka is no longer just a rising star. His ascent within the NBA has forced a redefinition of the hierarchy in the Lakers locker room, a reevaluation of who is truly in command. And that kind of shift is never easy when you've spent 2 decades as the undisputed king. One of the earliest signals of this change came when Luka openly referenced a private meeting about rotations with coach J.J. Redick, a meeting that LeBron was conspicuously absent from. Following a decisive victory over Sacramento, Luka detailed how he and Redick had conferred before the game, planning out minute distributions and specific roles for the night. LeBron was not a part of that strategy session. The move is subtle, yet its implications are enormous. A coach doesn't privately strategize on rotation details with a new player unless he has profound trust in that player's leadership. Then there are the moments the cameras captured, the ones fans have endlessly analyzed. While an overt conflict would almost certainly never escape the sanctity of the locker room, the subtle language of the body tells its own story. On multiple occasions, interactions between LeBron and Luka after games have appeared strained, like two apex predators warily circling one another, trying to establish dominance. There was even a widely circulated clip where LeBron seemingly snubbed Luka, walking right past an offered handshake. Sources inside the organization have also alluded to the growing strain. As one anonymous journalist put it, LeBron isn't accustomed to sharing the stage with someone else who can command the team. What we're seeing is a dynamic where Luka's confident and assertive nature is emerging organically. Meanwhile, LeBron is trying to hold on to his authority in the only manner he has ever known. In all fairness, you can hardly fault the legends for siding with Luka. To watch Luka Doncic play is to witness something increasingly rare. He embodies the very soul of the game. He is not the type of player who produces flashy plays purely for the highlight reel. He is the kind of player who reminds you of the fundamental reasons we all fell in love with this sport. You reflect on Jordan's ruthless mid-range jumper, Bird's preternatural court vision, Magic's command of the open floor, or Shaq's sheer force in the paint, and you begin to see that Luka is a vessel for all of it. And what's truly remarkable is that at 26, He is the first player since Kobe Bryant to exude that old-school basketball spirit while seamlessly dominating in the modern pace and space era of the NBA. It begins with his utter fearlessness. Luka never shies away from contact, from taking the decisive shot in crunch time, or from seizing control when the game hangs in the balance. Witness what he did in the rematch against the Grizzlies earlier this season. That was a display of old-school dominance. It is the kind of leadership that evokes memories of Jordan or Kobe. Even his step-back three-pointers, which appear so modern and sleek, are built on the same principles as a classic Jordan fadeaway. And his versatility is simply staggering. He is a point guard who snatches rebounds like a power forward, distributes the ball like an elite playmaker, and scores from anywhere on the court. And what of his basketball intelligence? Luka processes defenses in real time, anticipates rotations before they happen, and masterfully manipulates the court's gravity. Even Gilbert Arenas, a man not known for handing out praise lightly, has admitted that Luka reminds him of a bygone era of NBA players who operated with a level of court awareness that simply cannot be coached. You know, he has that old, and I hate to say it, that old Duke, fundamentally sound footwork, reaction, ability to create a shot. So, as Luka channels every element we associate with classic NBA greatness, LeBron, despite his monumental legacy, is beginning to resemble a fading masterpiece from another time. And if you've been paying attention to the discourse around the league, the Lakers front office is no longer trying to obscure its intentions. Luka Doncic is their centerpiece. And LeBron, well, he is gradually becoming a luxury rather than a necessity. This isn't driven by drama or disrespect. It is a matter of pure, calculated strategy. The Lakers' general manager, Rob Pelinka, has stated on more than one occasion that the organization is building its next 10 years around Luka. It's a gift. We're talking about the 2000. That is a top 3 player of the universe. I can't think of a more amazing starting point to build a roster for the next decade. And this philosophy extends far beyond their public statements. According to insider reports, every single roster move, every trade negotiation, and every draft consideration is being viewed through the prism of Luka. They are assembling a team built to amplify his talents, not one contorting itself around a 41-year-old in pursuit of one last championship. Even the team's marketing proclaims it from the rooftops. It's Luka on the billboards, Luka at the forefront of arena promotions, season ticket campaigns, and social media pushes. Everything revolves around Luka now. And for the Lakers, this is simply how it's always been done. Look through their storied history. Magic had Worthy and Scott, Shaq had Penny, and then Kobe, and Kobe, in time, ascended to become the undisputed focal point. The organization has always been masterful at executing these power transitions quietly, long before the rest of the league fully grasps what is happening. This very transition is unfolding with Luka. You can see it in the shifting game management and how LeBron's time on the floor is now carefully curated. There are moments he sits, a spectator, while Luka orchestrates the entire offense. This confirms that the question of leadership isn't answered by statistics alone. The organization understands the future he represents. At this juncture, the final act feels already scripted. The only thing left for LeBron to control is the manner of his departure. He has the opportunity to define it with grace. To consciously step aside, to hand the keys to Luka, would be to secure a legacy as the giant who knew precisely when his era was complete. An act like that would not diminish his history. If anything, it would elevate it. The alternative is to resist, to stand in the way until the franchise, the front office, and reality itself force his hand. And that version of the story is a graceless one. Luka's time is not coming. It has arrived. The team and its future already belong to him. The only question remaining is whether LeBron exits the stage as an icon or is ushered out as a relic.